So, welcome, ladies. Good morning. And it's my pleasure that you are joining here today for the special Mother's Day program with me. Mothers are special because they give up a part of their life for nurturing the human society. Today, I want you to reflect regarding what are the aspects of your health as a woman which you feel if there is some clarity, you would be in a better position. And at the end of the session, if that is a question, that is a query, you can ask. But for the time being, let's journey across the different ages of a woman and understand what are the certain tips and lifestyle modifications which can help us as women to live better. The very first stage when a child, a girl child essentially, starts the journey to become a woman. It is attaining puberty, which is also known as menarche or the first menstrual cycle which the girl goes through. It is a new phase for the girl. It is difficult for the girl to understand, but if it happens in a proper age when the child has developed certain understanding, it is easier for the mother, for the grandmothers, or the aunts of her, or even the girl child herself to adapt to it. But if the menarche happens on an earlier age, then it is difficult to explain to that child who is still not unable to properly go through the daily life of school and house what it is, what it means to have these monthly cycles. And menarche is a stage of a woman's life when whole life of the girl, the woman changes. And so it is important that it happens in a proper age, a age where the girl is able to understand the implication, is able to maintain the lifestyle which is essential to keep her protected, safe, both physically, mentally, and from abuse. Ideal age for menarche is 11 to 14 years. But depending on the child's maturity, depending on the child's physical health, changes do happen. For proper menstrual cycle to set in, for proper attaining puberty on time, the girl child needs to get proper nutrition. If the child's nutrition is proper, there are chances that the child will get menstrual cycle naturally, normally, without any medical attention or any intervention. For that, it is important that the metabolic function, the hormone functions, the digestion that is happening in the child's body is proper. It is very important that as parents, as guardians, we take care of the nourishment of the daughters so that their organs grow in a proper way and they lay the foundation of a proper health of the women of future that they are going to be. But the challenge today is the increasing incidences of early menarche or menarche happening at around the ages of 8 to 9 years. Think about it. When he must be in class 2 or class 3, how much do they understand regarding what is happening? At times, for these young girls, it is a trauma. They don't understand why they are bleeding and they don't understand how to manage themselves. So, it is really important that we as mothers and women of the society get equipped with the knowledge to help these girls and also make it sure that their lifestyle is proper so that they don't need to go through this early menarche. Everything that happens in a proper age is easily manageable. So, as parents, it is important that we take care of the food the child takes. Food is a really important aspect of our life. Ayurveda says that ahar, nidra, these two are like pillars apart from the other body humors of vata, pitta, kapha or the dhatus they have discussed, that is the tissues. It is essential that we take care of the food that we intake because ultimately our body is made up of the food that we take. And today, when the children are taking in lot of processed food, high fat rich food. The children are exposed to food that is rich in certain chemicals, certain hormones are put across for getting the meat or the getting the fruits that we have properly ripened, or meat production is increased by using hormones, or at times antibiotics are also used to take care of the livestock. These things have a ultimately bad effect on the body, and it becomes more and more evident in the bodies of these young girls, and they need to go through early menopause. So, as parents, it is very important that we take care of the source of the food that we procure for our family, and we avoid our girls from getting hormone injected or antibiotics injected, chemical injected food. We should as much as strive to procure food that is clean, that is closest to nature, so that the children of ours they grow properly. Another impact that children today are facing is lack of physical activity. 20 years back, a child used to have at least one sibling, if not two or three siblings at home, and they used to run around because the houses used to be larger. Today, their schedules are packed with schools, with activities, and so the physical activity of the children are decreasing day by day. We are thinking about their career, their prospects. We are increasing their certain mental abilities. We are putting them across in different hobby classes for personality development, everything. But what about physical activity? It is really important that any form of physical activity is included, and more so for the girl child, because if the physical activity is proper, if the tissues are developing properly, if the desired amount of fat is becoming stored, not excess of fat, if the desired amount of growth is happening, then we can prevent the occurrence of the early menarche in the girl child. Because not just that managing the menstrual cycle is a problem, but in future different type of other lifestyle issues happen if the girl child is going through early menarche. Be it dance, be it yoga, be it table tennis, basketball, football, or anything, but it should be included. And we should encourage them for physical activities. Another important aspect which we tend to overlook is the stress. Children today understand a lot than what we used to understand as children. Today's generation is a lot more vulnerable, and so we have to understand the symptoms that our children are showing of stress, and we have to have a proper bond with the children so that when we converse, when we are talking with them, they are able to share their stressors with us so that we can help them on time, and we can prevent them from getting stressed, and that stress impacting their hormone cycle, their physical body, and thus we can also prevent them from becoming prey to different kind of health diseases, and early menarche being one of those. Should mention what are the harmful effects of the screen in an age appropriate manner, because we don't know in our absence what content is coming, what content is coming in the form of ads per se. And these hyperstimulating visuals can impact the functioning of the brain system, which is responsible for our emotions, the limbic system, the amygdala, the pituitary hypothalamus, and reproductive cycle is found to be affected due to this hyperstimulating videos. And at times, definitely the children do become prey to different scams and things. But these visuals impact their brain, their emotion centers, and thus impact the hormone cycle of the children, and more in the case of the young girls, and that leads them to early menarche. So, as parents, what we should take care is that we pave their path, we show them the direction that there are alternate ways available. Yes, looking at the screen is lot easier. Drawing or making a craft is bit difficult because it takes lot of effort from a person's perspective. But if we put across to them the side effects of screen and at the same time showcase what benefits are there of making a drawing or learning a craft or engaging in certain constructive activities which don't essentially require you to use the screen. I am pretty much sure, and I have seen in my experience that children do opt for the healthier ones. It's just that we need to show them the path. Certain tips which I want to share for the parents to prevent early menarche is include whole leafy vegetables for the child's food, include whole grains in the child's diet. Moong dal is very good for maintaining the hormone cycles of a small girl. Coconut water can be really helpful for keeping the body functioning proper. It's important that the child is trained into having a regular sleep cycle and also waking up on time every day. It is important to have a daily routine, a daily ritual. It is important that the child gets at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep because getting sleep properly also nourishes, rejuvenates our body and mind. It sets the hormone clock proper and thus proper functioning happens and thus stress is also reduced and all the side effects that can impact and become the cause of early menarche can be prevented to certain extent. For the child, it is really important that the child gets regular bowel movement or they take the food every day. And for that, it is important that we take care of their gastrointestinal health. We take care of the food they are having. We take a note of their proper digestion. And for that, we need to be aware as parents that these things are happening or not. We should encourage them to outdoor plays and reduce the screen time, which I have discussed before. Now, how can we support the teenage daughters or the early adult daughters? It is really important that we talk openly regarding the periods. The girls mostly share with their mothers or the female members of their family about what they are going through. But fathers are also an important part of their life. And today, with the advent of the nuclear families, at times the mother may be out traveling or at office. And at that moment, if the girl needs certain help, the girl should not be hesitant to discuss it with the father or seek help from the father. If for taking care of the girl from the baby days, the father can be involved. This time of the age also, the father can be involved because the love of the mother and the love of the father is equal. And so this taboo of the society should go that when it comes to sex education or when it comes to menstrual education, it is only the mothers talking with the daughters and fathers talking with the son. Each parent with each child is the norm that we advocate, and it is really important that both mother and father share a equal bond with the child. And thus, it is important that as a family we talk openly about it because acknowledging this removes a lot of problems. Many times the daughters go through body image issues, they go through certain mood changes. And if the family is supportive, the family is understanding the things which the daughter is going through, sailing across this phase is easier. It is important that we encourage healthy habits without posing the daughters through certain shame, body shaming, or persist certain kind of things. Because this age of teens, many girls, many boys, they gain weight. And if they are exposed to body shaming, if they are exposed to shaming because of the pimples or the skin condition that they are going through, then the daughters will be more stressed. They will suffer from body image issues, and that can harm their health and thus, stress can also impact their reproductive cycles. So it is really important that we don't shame them. We just show them what is the proper healthy lifestyle that can help them to stay healthier. We should highlight what is the problem, but not make them as the reasons for the problem, because it is they about whom we are concerned. We are not concerned about the weight, but we are concerned about the weight of a girl. So here, the girl is the primary entity of whom we should be concerned, and thus we should focus on how we can approach the girl so that she can have a healthy weight, she can have a healthy skin, and not vice versa, highlighting the skin color, the skin condition, highlighting the body weight, because then it becomes a lifelong struggle for the girl. And it is really important to remove the taboo around certain practices that is still prevalent in certain societies around the menstrual cycle. It is important to normalize it as a physiological condition. Yes, in earlier days, maybe it was essential for certain hygiene purposes, and I am not talking about the social or the cultural aspects. I'm just talking about the health aspect. And for health, definitely we need to teach them the ways in which they can maintain their hygiene and health. It is essential to teach our daughters, but for that, we should not get free of certain taboo practices, and we should just maintain it as a normal physiological function of a female's body. We should extend support as parents, as guardians, as teachers to our daughters so that these age when actually they are also building up their careers. Today, the boys and the girls are competing for the same place in the leaderboard, and the stressors in the life of a boy and the girl are equal in certain aspects. Additionally, each child has additional stressors, and also additionally, if menstrual cycle becomes a stressor for the daughters, it is not what we really want as a society. And I hope we as parents will think about, because these daughters are the mothers of future, and if we want a healthy human race in future, we need to keep our daughters safe and healthy and strong. And for that, we need to protect them in whatever way it takes. And next phase which a lady goes through is the menstrual health after childbirth. From the young adult, when after the childbirth, the woman's body changes, the cycles also change. There is lot of irregularities which happens in the woman's body, though it is temporary, but it happens. And lot of physical symptoms the woman goes through in those postpartum cycles. And thus, it is important to identify and pay attention to these symptoms, if any, and then seek medical advice as and when relevant. It is important to maintain a proper lifestyle. And in women, after the birth of the child, Vata dosha is primarily impacting different types of diseases. In Ayurveda, we discuss any physical condition on the basis of three doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And any type of menstrual disease, Vata dosh is a primary concern. And for a lady after her birth, it is essential that we do all means to prevent her from getting excess of Vata dosha. And how can we do that? It is very helpful if the lady goes through daily regular massage with medicated oils like Mahamash tel or Dhanvantara tel or Bala tel, and these can rejuvenate the lady, remove the aches and pain of the body, can also make the body toned up, and also remove the chances of developing secondary menstrual disorders due to the condition of childbirth. Herbs like Shatavari, Bala, these can be helpful if taken under the guidance of a doctor, Ayurvedic specialist. Iron-rich food like dates, jaggery, sesame, these can be helpful too. And in case of post-childbirth or postpartum condition, one important aspect is the mental well-being. And these days, many women are going through postpartum depression. And why it is so? Because the woman's life so far, till the child was born, was same and predicted as she expected. But now, with the birth of a new human being, a lot of changes have happened in her body, in her daily life, in her whole structure, and thus she feels affected. And if at that moment the family, the friends can support her, she will recover from this phase and she will be the old self again. But if she is not getting proper support, then she might lose her. And today, women are so aware that they feel that they are losing themselves, and that gives them a lot of crisis, existential crisis, and stress, which paves the way towards postpartum depression in many women, and it has become so common. So, it is important that we take care of this aspect of women's health as well. Busy mothers often suffer from irregularity, fatigue, and pain, and so regular massage can help them. Regular intake of jeera and ajwain water can also be helpful. Yogasanas like Baddha Konasana, Trikonasana, Tadasana, Surya Namaskar can be very helpful, but under the guidance of a yoga teacher. Ayurvedic herbs like Ashok, Lodra, Satavari Guruji can be really helpful for women after childbirth. Perimenopause, or the age which is approaching menopause, around from the age of late 30s to early 40s, the woman goes through this transition phase, suffers from different kind of symptoms like hot flushes, anxiety, irregular cycles. Emotional sensitivity is also very common. And another symptom that is common is brain fog and regular recurrent headaches associated with the menstrual cycle, and digestive complaints are also common. So any woman of this age, if suffering from any of these symptoms, could get in touch with any Ayurvedic doctor or gynecologist and get evaluated and get corrected physiological biochemical parameters so that their hormonal health is balanced and their body functions in a proper way. Ayurveda can help by taking care of the diet and also provide certain herbal support like Ashtamadhi, Ashwagandha, Bala. This can be helpful for women of perimenopausal age. Ghee, if included in breakfast, can be very helpful. Inclusion of root vegetables, inclusion of warm soups and warm dal, etc., can be helpful. And taking adequate sleep, rest, and practicing mindfulness techniques can also be helpful. And menopause, the age when the woman goes through the change of having menstrual cycle, ideally 45 to 50 years of age, but it again depends. Someone having early menarche can have a early menopause as well. And at times, the woman suffers from number of symptoms during this phase: dryness of the skin, difficulty to fall asleep, nervous symptoms, and joint stiffness, joint pains, aches and pain across the body, skin diseases, hot flushes, suddenly feeling a fear of something unknown, and these all are results of the hormonal imbalance, and not to mention the irregularity in the cycles, the number of days, the amount of bleeding, everything matters. They suffer, go through lot of pain during their menstrual cycles, and if as family, as the friends around, we need to be supportive of them. We need to know how to take care of these women. And we women who are going through this age should also understand that they should share it with the people around them so that the people know what they are going through and they can help. Daily oil massage can help. Pranayam practices like Anulom Vilom Bhramari can be helpful. Use of Brahmi and Ashwagandha can also be helpful in case of brain fogging or nervous system symptoms. But I would suggest that you speak with any Ayurvedic doctor before taking the herbs. I'm always available, just a message away. So do get in touch if you need. And it is important to take care of your sleep as well, including Brahmi tea or including warm milk if you are not lactose intolerant with little bit of nutmeg can be helpful. And proper bedtime routine is important to have a proper sleep. It is important to embrace the new identity that, well, menstrual cycles are stopping, and also seek support from the friends and family. Understand what you are going through, go for regular checkups so that certain health issues don't creep up. And it is important that we avoid isolation because at this age of 45 to 55, this is the time when even the children are growing up and they are moving out of the house for higher studies or for their jobs. And the women are the most vulnerable population who suffer from emptiness syndrome. So it is important that we seek a support from our friends, we reconnect with our friends, we develop certain hobbies that we like, we practice regular journaling, meditation, and mindfulness activities so that we women stay healthy and stay proper for ourselves and be the pillar of strength for our children and for our family. The role of the spouse, the husband of this woman, also becomes important in this age because beyond the age of childbirth, this is also a transition for the women, and this is as the life partner, one role that the husband needs to take up so that the women feel supported. For all phases of women's life, these are certain daily habits that can be helpful. Waking up early, drinking adequate water, daily exercises, yoga or walk, weekly massages or abhyanga, maybe self, maybe with the help of a masseuse, pranayam, meditation, gratitude journaling, you having a nighttime routine for proper sleep and maintaining a proper duration of sleep. That is very important. So, to conclude, celebration of the mothers of future and today. You are the nurturer, the healer, and the guide. So it is important that each and every moment takes care of herself, and each and every daughter deserves the care that they need. Small steps every day as the family and friends of these women can take our society as a whole to a healthier, newer generation where the women are getting equal opportunities and not staying behind just because some physiological function or physiological condition that they are going through. They can achieve everything and anything. It's just that they need the conducive environment. Even the plant needs a conducive environment. So I think our daughters, our women deserve it. So together, let's be there for the mothers of present and future. A very happy Mother's Day for all the mothers who have joined this program, all the mothers who are listening, and for the family members of these daughters and the mothers. I urge you all to be their support, be the pillar of their strength. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for joining. And if anyone wants to share their insights or experiences, please, the floor is open for you. I'll switch off the recording because then it will be comfortable for